Hello children, welcome to a brand new term of online field trips. We hope you had a fantastic summer. Give us a wave and a cheer in your classrooms if you're very excited about the new school year. Lots of people waving there, lots of children waving, very exciting indeed. My name is Sam and today I'm joined by Toby, who is a carrot expert. Hello Toby.
Hi Sam, hiya. Hi children.
Now, as you can see, we're in the middle of a field full of carrots, and we're actually in Cambridgeshire today, which is in the southeast of England, to learn all about one of our favourite vegetables. Of course, it's crunchy carrots. So before we start learning all about carrots, let's meet who we have taking part today. Let's go over to our schools. Our first school is Bonners Primary School in East Sussex, where we have Mrs. Wilson's class taking part today. Hello, children.
Hello.
Great to have you all taking part, looking very nice and smart in their new school uniforms as well, aren't they, Toby? Let's go over to Ben Weaver's school now. We've got Miss Hamilton's class taking part there.
Hello.
Hello, children. Nice and lively today, children. That summer holidays obviously giving them lots and lots of energy. Let's go to Lomond Primary School now. They're in Helensburgh, and it's Mrs. Muggalt's class that's taking part.
Hello.
Hello, children. Great to have you all with us today. And finally, let's go over to Birchgrove Primary in Swansea, where we've got Miss Wilson's class taking part.
Hello.
Hello, children. Great to have you all with us. I love that Miss Wilson's class has decorated their classroom for us. Thank you so much, children. Very nice flags indeed. Very, very nice indeed. Okay, so as I said, we're going to be learning all about carrots. It's going to be a really fun online field trip, isn't it, Toby?
Really great. I mean, the weather's just come out, the sun's come out, it's perfect for it. We've got lots of different vegetables to look at, and also we've brought some different machinery to have a look at later on as well. So it should be a really great day.
We are going to learn the whole process from when the carrots are planted all the way through until they're picked or harvested and they end up in your local stores ready for you to buy. I'm really looking forward to learning about all these strange and weird and wonderful vegetables here that you're going to tell us all about, aren't you, Toby, later. But first of all, let's start with the basics. Toby, what kind of vegetable is a carrot?
So a carrot's a root vegetable, okay? So this means that it's the root of a plant. Okay, so the part that we eat grows underneath the ground, and it's essentially a store for all the plant's nutrients.
Fantastic. Okay. Can you eat the leaves as well?
Yeah, then? You can eat the leaves. It's not as juicy and tasty as a carrot raw, and I'd probably suggest if you were to eat the leaves that you'd probably cut them up and put them into a soup or a stew or something like that, because they do still taste slightly carroty.
Great. I've never tried that, and I'm sure lots of the children haven't, so I think we will try it now.
Yeah.
Great stuff. So we grow lots and lots of different types of carrots in the UK. Why? I mean, normally we don't grow many things because the weather's so bad, but is it good in the UK?
Yeah, no, really, the UK is perfect for growing carrots, okay? So two things, really. The climate is perfect. Growing carrots, you need a lot of rainwater, and some people might think it's not good that we get a lot of rain, but us carrot growers love it because carrots just thrive on having lots of rainwater. We also have got some sunshine, albeit not as much as we'd probably like, but we've got enough and it's good for growing carrots. The other thing that we've got is the land types are perfect, okay? So what we need to grow carrots is a nice sandy, silty soil that really lets the carrots grow nice and long, and it keeps the skin nice and smooth as well. So it's perfect for growing carrots in the UK.
Great stuff. And do we grow, or do they grow carrots in other countries?
Yeah, so they grow carrots all over the world. I suppose one good thing in the UK is that we're pretty much self-sufficient. So that basically means that pretty much all the carrots that are sold in UK supermarkets are actually grown here in the UK as well. So that's really, really great. And we grow so much of them. I mean, in the UK, I think about 700,000 tonnes of carrots are grown every year. And if you put that, that's about 100 carrots for every single person in the UK. So that's a lot of carrots.
That's a lot of carrots. And of course, children, some people don't like carrots. So there are people that are probably eating 200 carrots to make up for it as well. Now, we've got some of the different types of carrots that we can see in our supermarkets here in front of us. Can you take us
so I suppose the first one is probably the most traditional one that you'd have all seen and probably eaten as well. And this is what type of field we're in just now. So this is what just a normal carrot, if you like. As well as normal carrots, we also grow these ones, which is just a different type of carrot. So this is called a chantenay carrot, okay? So this is bred to be nice and small, and it's a really, really easy snacking carrot, if you like. You can put it, just have it whole, or even cooking it. It's a really, really simple carrot to cook. okay?
Fabulous.
So another carrot that we do is what we call a bunch carrot, and we sell these with their attractive leaves still left on. So as I said earlier, you can actually eat these green tops. So although they're not that tasty raw, you can cut them up and put them in cooked food. So that's just something a little bit different as well.
Great, so lots of different sizes. One thing I have noticed though, Toby, they are all orange, but I did hear that carrots used to come in different colours.
Yeah, so they don't just come in orange, you do get purple carrots, you get yellow ones, white ones, and I think a story we've heard that dates back to the 1700s is that the Dutch actually bred carrots to be orange because it was their national colour.
Wow.
And I think ever since then they've kind of just carried on this strain, and that's now what everybody's used to see an orange carrot.
Fantastic. Well, I'd love to try a nice purple carrot that we can see on there. Hands up in your classrooms, children, if you'd like to try a purple carrot for tea.
Lots of people.
I think everybody would like to try a purple carrot. Yes, very nice. So we haven't only just got carrots here, Toby, we've got lots of other different types of vegetables.
Yeah, no, exactly. So we've got other types of root vegetables that you'd have probably all seen in supermarkets and stuff, from parsnips to beetroot. We've got onions and swede as well. So they're all root vegetables, so they're all grown in the ground, okay? But some of the more exotic vegetables that we've got here, and these are more grown in hotter climates around the world. And if we start off with this one is a Brazilian yam, okay? And look at the size of this, it's huge. But this isn't even the biggest one you get. You can get ones that are even bigger that probably come up to here on me, so they're huge. That's a Brazilian yam.
You'd feed quite a few people with that,
yeah, quite a few. Yeah, that's a big meal.
Yeah, lovely.
And then we've got different types of sweet potato here, and this called cassava. Yeah, exactly. So this is a really, really popular vegetable in other parts of the world, okay? And some people probably eat this vegetable nearly every single day, okay? This one is called a lotus root. Yeah, exactly. And the different thing with this one is actually this one's grown underwater. So whereas all the other vegetables on the table here are grown under the ground, that's why they're called a root vegetable. This is a root vegetable still, but it's grown in the water. So the other interesting thing with this one is the inside of it. Can everybody see the inside and the holes of the inside of this?
It's fantastic, isn't it? It's amazing.
Yeah, really great.
The one thing that springs to mind, children, when I see this is, you know, sometimes when you're getting arty and you get a potato and do some potato stamping. Well, imagine the stamps that you could do with this. You could do some amazing pictures with that using lots of different colours. And I know, children, in your classrooms, we have sent you some of these. So maybe after today's online field trip, you'd like to give making a nice picture
stamp
with these. Yeah, very
definitely.
lotus root picture. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Now, children, I know that you have been learning all about carrots and root vegetables already before today's online field trip, using all the resources and information that we do have online. And I think we should find out, Toby, what's the most interesting thing you've learned so far before we teach you any more today. So let's go over to Bonas Primary School now to find out what the most interesting thing you've learned.
Yes, we learnt about all the different parts of the carrot. We labelled our carrots, found all the different parts within the tap roots.
Fantastic. What a great model that you have made for us there as well. And they've learned all the different types of parts of the carrot that the carrot's made up of. So cool. Great learning there. Let's go to Ben Weavis now and find out what the classroom there have learnt.
The bit of the carrot that we eat is called the tap root.
Great stuff. So they have learnt, Toby, that the carrot we eat is called a taproot.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Great stuff, really good learning. We've got lots more to learn about now. Time for a short video now, and this is more about root vegetables and the different types that are eaten around the world.
Crunchy carrots, roots from around the world. Root vegetables are eaten all over the world and are a very important part of billions of people's diets. In the UK, traditional root vegetables include carrots, parsnips, beetroot and turnips. These types of vegetables grow well in the UK climate, and because of this, they have been an important food source for hundreds and hundreds of years. Historians can tell us that turnips, carrots and parsnips were first brought to Britain by the Romans, along with other vegetables like onions, garlic and radishes. In fact, archaeologists think that people in Northern Europe have probably been eating turnips since Neolithic times.
That's over 10,000 years ago.
In Britain today, we trade with suppliers from around the world so that we can buy exotic root vegetables that don't grow here, such as yams, cassava and lotus roots. Yams can grow to be the biggest of all root vegetables, up to a whopping 1.5 metres in length. They grow in many different countries, but Nigeria produces 95% of the crop. In this part of the world, fried yams with pepper sauce is a popular street food. It's similar to having chips and ketchup here in the UK. Another popular root vegetable is a cassava, and it looks like this. It grows in the tropics and subtropical regions, such as the Caribbean. Once it's fully grown, it's pulled from the ground and then chopped from the plant. It must be cooked to make it edible, and it can be eaten in lots of different ways. It is often made into bread, cakes and flatbreads. Lotus flowers are a plant native to tropical Asia and Australia. You may have seen them floating on a pond. Did you know you can eat the roots of these plants? They grow underneath the water and look like this. Once picked and cleaned, they're often pickled in rice vinegar, ginger and spices and eaten in salads. Nowadays, we're very lucky to be able to enjoy so many more unusual and exotic vegetables from around the world, ensuring that we never get tired of eating our 5 a day.
Welcome back, children. We hope you enjoyed that. How big was that yam? You'd get quite a few meals out of that, wouldn't you? Now, you can probably see behind us, we have some fantastic machinery that has just come up behind us. You probably hear it as well. I'm going to take a look around that in just a moment. But first of all, I know that you have all been doing your carrot experiments in your classrooms. Put your hands up if you have done a carrot experiment. Lots and lots of you with your hands up. So I would like to know how you got on. So if one child from each of the classrooms could come to the front with your carrot so we can take a look at how it's ended up. So let's go to Lomond Primary now. Hello, Alice. Could you tell us a little bit about how you did your experiment, please?
We chopped the end of the carrots off, then we put them into water, then we added a bit of blue food dye in, then we put them on the windowsill for 2 days, and now they've gone a bit blue in the inside.
Great stuff. So 2 days with the food dye and then you popped the carrot in. Great stuff. We hope you enjoyed it. Let's go over to Birchgrove now to see how they got on with their carrot experiment. Who do we have there, Miss Wilson?
My name's Kai.
Hello, Kai.
We took the carrot off and then we dipped it into blue food dye, and we found out that the bigger the carrot, the better it will absorb the food dye because they have bigger tubes.
That's a really, really good observation, Kai. So Kai actually observed, Toby, that the bigger the carrot, the more of the dye is absorbed into the carrot.
Because it needs more energy to pump up the carrot and make it that big. Yeah.
Great stuff. That's really, really good learning. Let's go to Bonner's school now, Bonner's Primary, to find out how Mrs. Wilson's class got on. Wow, that looks really, really good. So what did you learn, Mrs. Wilson's class?
We didn't see the blue part inside the carrot, but we did have some fun.
Lift your carrot up so we can just see how it ended up. That'd be fantastic. Pull it out the jar.
Oh, look at that.
There we go. Really, really great work, children. Really good. Let's go finally over to Ben Weavis now and find out how they got on.
That's the blue bit there.
Okay, so what we can see is they've actually cut their carrot open and we can see the blue dye that's gone all the way through the middle of the carrot. Great work there, children. Absolutely fantastic stuff. It's a good way to learn, isn't it?
Yeah,
to
really
see
good.
what actually happens inside
yeah, and it sees
the
where
carrot.
the plant gets all its energy from, and it comes from the bottom of the plant.
Now, Toby, I know you promised earlier on we were going to take a look around your very fantastic equipment that you have here on the farm. So could we go and see some of the machines
so let's go over and have a look now. So first of all, let's go to the first machine. So this, I suppose, is really the start of the carrot journey. It's what we call the carrot drill, which is where we plant all the seeds, okay? So this is it here.
Wow, this is great.
Essentially, so what we start with the carrot seeds, which are just like this. And what we do, we pour these into these hoppers in here. So we pour all the carrot seeds in, and what happens, the carrot seeds then filter down the machines into this, what we call the disc, okay? So the carrot seeds all go into these tiny little holes, and as this disc spins round, the carrot seeds then get planted into the ground, okay? So it's really, really important in this phase, because if the carrots go into the ground right, then more often than not, they'll come out the ground right, which is great, okay? So part of an interesting thing that we do here, so the closer we plant the seeds together, the smaller the carrots will be. If the carrots, we plant them farther apart, they've got more room to grow, so that's when we get bigger carrots. So it's a really important thing, this, that we get the right amount of carrot seeds coming out per metre, so we get all the same size, perfect size carrots.
That's so clever. And children, I guess a good way to think of this is, if you buy a goldfish and you put it in a big tank, it will grow to the size of the tank. If you get a small tank, it will stay quite small as well.
Exactly, yeah.
Great stuff.
Perfect.
So what happens when you need to
harvest? So yeah, about 12 to
characters?
40, it takes between 12 and 16 weeks for a carrot to grow from being planted into the seed to when it's ready to be harvested. So we've got two harvester driver, or a harvester driver and a tractor driver here. They're part of our harvesting team, okay, David and Peter. So if I just tell the guys to come down here, and what we'll see, can you see the carrots being lifted out of the ground? And literally, so what's happening here is we've got shears underneath the carrots, lifting them and making them loose in the soil. So the carrots are literally being lifted up by their tops and being pulled out the ground. Okay, so it's a really simple process, and it's a nice gentle process to make sure so can you see all the carrots being lifted out the ground here? So what's happening, these big shears are going underneath the ground, really loosening off all the soil, okay? And then these belts are lifting the carrots all the way up the harvester, and when they get to the top of the harvester, all the tops then get cut off, and then the tops get left in the field, okay? An interesting thing about carrots is once we've grown carrots in this field, it's then 7 years before we can then come into this field again. So it's quite a long rotation for carrots to grow, but this is one of the bits of kit that we use for harvesting all the carrots.
Great stuff. And one thing that strikes me is that so many carrots harvested at the same time, which wasn't the case back in the 1950s, Toby. It was very sort of labour intensive, and children, we can show you now some footage that shows you how much work went into kind of harvesting fruit and vegetables back in those days. You can see lots of people on their hands and knees using their hands.
Yeah.
Horses were used a lot around that time to pull the tractors.
Yeah, the ploughs and everything through. Luckily we've got tractors, and carrots are so popular now that if we had to do all of this by hand, and years ago all carrots would have to been pulled out of the ground individually by hand. So to have these big bits of kit really make it possible for us to service all you guys and make sure they're always in the supermarkets for you guys to buy.
Fantastic. So it just takes one driver up there, and I understand that they can read their paper if they want, because it's all...
so like farming's come on massively over the years, so we've got loads of technology now. So one of the things we've got is satellite guided tractors, okay? So pretty much they set coordinates in the field and the carrot will pretty much drive itself, okay? The driver pretty much can just sit in his cab and read a paper if you like. Yeah, exactly.
Great stuff. Well, let's see these amazing machines in action and find out how our carrots get from farm to fork.
Crunchy carrots, from farm to fork. A carrot is a root vegetable, which means that it grows underneath the ground. The part we eat is the root of the plant, which is where all its energy is stored in the form of starch and sugar. Other root vegetables include parsnips, beetroot, and even onions. Although we always think of carrots as bright orange, did you know you could also grow yellow, white, red, and even purple carrots? You can also eat the leafy green tops of the plant too, although it's best to cook them a little bit first. To grow carrots, the land must be ploughed, formed into ridges, and then the stones are removed by a machine like this. Because if carrots grow around stones, they can form some rather unusual shapes. Then, between December and May, the tiny carrot seeds are planted into the furrows. They grow best in light sandy soil and are planted sparingly to give each plant enough space and sunlight to grow fully. It takes between 12 and 16 weeks for different varieties of carrots to grow to their full size, but this can depend on the weather. The ideal conditions are warm days and nights, along with plenty of sunshine and rain, which is why they grow so well in our British climate. Once the carrots are ready to be harvested, a machine like this one, called a top lifter harvester, lifts them out of the soil. This process is usually started at midnight when the temperature is cooler. This helps to keep the carrots fresh and crisp. Around 700,000 tonnes of carrots are harvested each year in the UK. That's the equivalent weight of nearly 4,000 blue whales. Once harvested, the carrots are transported to a factory, where they are flushed out of the trailers by huge flumes of water. The carrots are then separated from any soil, stones or weeds, which may have been accidentally picked up. Next, they're washed and polished, and then sorted by size and quality. This machine is called a hydrocooler. Inside, the carrots are being plunged into ice-cold water, which keeps them nice and fresh. Finally, they're checked for quality one last time before being packed. Once packed, they're ready to be transported to the shops. It takes an average of just 36 hours from the moment the carrot is pulled from the ground to arriving in your local store, ready for you to take home and enjoy for your dinner.
Welcome back, children. We hope you enjoyed that. Give us a wave in your classrooms if you enjoyed learning all about how carrots are grown. Give us a wave. Yay, lots of waving there. Well, we can learn a little bit more about it now because we've got a fantastic piece of kit here which actually allows us to see what carrots look like under the ground, isn't it, Toby? What can we see
so pretty
here?
much what we've done, we've taken some carrots out of the ground and put them into this tank so you can see. So as we said earlier at the start, this is the root of the plant, okay? So this is really essentially where all the nutrients and energy is stored for the carrot leaves. Okay, so as you saw in your experiments with the blue dye, what happens is all the nutrients are soaked up from the bottom of the carrot, and that's then what feeds it to make it nice and big and juicy for when you eat it at home.
Great stuff. So are these ready to be pulled out?
Yeah,
now,
so they're ready to be pulled now, so have a go if you want.
Nice big chunky one here. Way, there we
There you go.
There. And got all the little roots on the bottom there.
Yeah, so this is where the carrot will soak up all the nutrients and all the goodness from the soil and the ground.
Great stuff. Now, one thing I've noticed about all these carrots, Toby, they're nice and straight, but that isn't always the case, is it?
Yeah, so as you've seen in the video, destoning is another process that we have to do before we plant the seed, okay? So the main reason for this is that if we don't destone the land, then we can get some funny shaped looking carrots like this one here, okay? So pretty much what happens as the carrot grows down into the ground, if there's a stone in the way, the carrot will just grow around it. So it won't stop growing, it won't do anything, it will literally just grow around the carrot, and then we get some funny shaped looking carrots like this, which ideally we don't want, albeit sometimes we do get them.
Would they taste the same though?
Yeah, so they taste exactly the same. I think the only difference is that they probably wouldn't be so easy to cut them up. You might not get such perfect circles, but yeah, it tastes exactly the same.
What would happen to them then, Toby?
So those, because they're not quite so perfect, they will go into something where the looks don't matter so much, I suppose. So they'll go into a soups, or they'll be made into a carrot cake or something like that, where they just get mashed up anyway.
Wow, so they're all used?
So they're all used anyway,
okay,
yeah, exactly.
Great, nothing gets thrown away.
No.
And I know some of our schools have got some weird shaped carrots. You've been searching high and low. So let's go over now and take a look at your carrots. So if you can bring your strange carrots to the front of the classroom. Whoa, that's a great one. Birch Grove, you've got a long, it's like a corkscrew as well, isn't it? Very similar to yours, Toby.
Yeah. Oh, there's lots of funny shaped ones here.
There's loads there. Great stuff, really, really good. So Toby, do we always have to peel carrots?
So carrots, no, you don't have to peel them. So carrots, you can just eat them raw, but some people as a preference prefer to peel them, or some recipes will even ask for it, but it is not a requirement. You can just rinse them in water and then they're good to go. You just prepare them however you like to do them.
So how would we eat carrots? There's lots of different ways.
Lots of different, like carrots are so versatile. You can have them raw, you can have them as a snack, but you cook them, you can roast them, boil them, steam them, you can have them in cakes. There's juice them, exactly. So juicing in the summer, soups in the winter. It's a really great way to warm yourself up. So really, really versatile. And because of the orange colour, they give you a nice colour on the plate as well. So it's perfect, really.
Nice and bright. Let's find out how our children like to eat their carrots. Let's go over to our schools. Let's go over to Lomond Primary.
I like to eat my carrots cooked with cheese and pasta.
Wow, that's a really great way. That's my daughter's favourite way as well. So carrots and peas inside pasta with
really
pasta,
nice.
So nice and cooked.
Yeah.
What a great way to eat carrots. Let's go to Birchgrove now and find out how the children in that classroom like to eat theirs.
I like to eat my carrots chopped up in my Sunday dinner.
Wow, that's a really great way as well. I think this might be kind of my favourite way. So eating them with a Sunday roast.
Perfect, yeah,
Sunday
the traditional
dinner.
way, I suppose, with some roast parsnips as well.
Yeah, great children. And what's your favourite way, Toby, of eating
Actually,
them?
I've got a bit of a sweet tooth, so I think I like a carrot cake. So probably not the most healthiest way to eat carrots, but it's a tasty cake.
Wow, lovely. I think, the roast dinner's my favourite. Also, I like them quite crunchy, so dipping them in hummus or some cream cheese or something like that. I eat loads and loads of carrots. Very, very good for you. Of course, children, eating vegetables is good for you, and carrots are too as well, because they're low in fat and they're a good source of beta carotene as well, which our bodies very cleverly convert into vitamin A. Now, we need vitamin A to keep our eyes, skin and immune systems nice and healthy. And of course, carrots count as one of our 5 a day, as do parsnips and swede. And although potatoes, yams and cassavas are also a root vegetable, they're mainly made up of starch, so they're a good source of energy, but they don't count as one of your 5 a day as well. Now, Toby, I've got a really interesting fact for you. So have you heard that eating carrots helps you see in the dark?
I have actually, yeah.
Well, apparently I heard this the other day. It was a little fib that was told by the government during World War II because the Allies were using radar back then to be able to see in the dark, but they wanted to keep that secret. So they said that the gunners were eating lots and lots of carrots to give them amazing eyesight to see in the dark. So it's a little fib.
A little fib, but I suppose it was good to encourage more people to grow their own carrots, I suppose, during the war, wasn't it?
Exactly. We're eating loads of carrots. I can't see how I would be eating any more. So many in this country. Now, children, we've almost come to the end of this online field trip. I think we've learnt so much that you probably will have a question or two for Toby. So let's go over, first of all, to Bonner School, where Mrs. Wilson's class possibly has a question for you, Toby. What would you like to ask?
Why are carrots orange?
That's a really good question. Why are carrots orange, Toby?
That's a really good question. So we learned earlier that back in the 1700s, the Dutch bred them because it's their national colour, but actually it's something called beta carotene within the carrot that makes them orange. So really good question there.
That was Emma. Well done, Emma. Let's go over to Ben Weavis now to get a question.
Is it true that carrots make you see in the dark?
We have a group question there, and that was Abigail, Abraham, Emily, Ali, Regan and Anne. Great question. Do carrots help you see in the dark?
So yeah, as you mentioned earlier, it was a bit of a fib that was told in World War II, but they do have vitamins in that are good for your eyes. So yeah, I suppose they help.
Really, really good question. Let's get another question. Let's go over to Lomond Primary now.
Do animals come in the night and try and eat the carrots? If they do, how do you stop them?
That's a really good question. That was Katrina would like to know, do we have sneaky animals that come around here in the night and steal your carrots?
Well, unfortunately, we actually do sometimes. So sometimes, as you know, rabbits love carrots, but we do get some rabbits sometimes come and nibble the green tops and sometimes nibble the tops of the carrots as well. So all we do, we put a simple fence up round the field and that stops the rabbits eating the carrots.
Oh.
It's easy.
Great
but we do,
stuff.
yeah, we do get animals coming and feeding on our carrots, unfortunately.
Oh, well done, Katrina. Let's go over to Birchgrove Primary now and get a question for Toby.
When was the first carrot found and why are they called carrots?
Well done, Mervyn. Mervyn likes to know, when was the first carrot found, and why are they called carrots? That's a really good question.
That is a good question. So I suppose firstly they first came into the UK with the Romans. Okay, so when the Romans came in and invaded the UK, they brought vegetables, and one of those vegetables was carrot. So that's really the earliest time that carrots came into the UK. I suppose, why is a carrot called a carrot? Even I don't probably know that one, so it might be worth looking that one up online at the end of the lesson.
Great stuff. Well, really good questions, children. We hope that Toby gave you the answers that you were looking for. He is the expert after all. We've got some questions now that have come in during today's online field trip from Google Plus, some people that are watching on Google Plus. So we've got Naomi and the Adventurers have a question. How do you grow carrots so big?
Well, as I said, when we looked at the seed drill, the carrots grow size depending on how many seeds we plant, okay? So if we want bigger carrots, we plant less seeds. So what that does, it gives the carrot more room to grow, and then they stop growing when they touch the next one. So to grow bigger carrots, we just plant less seeds in the field. Really,
really great questions, children. You really got involved in today's online field trip. One last question for you, Toby. What's the best thing about being a farmer?
Well, I suppose the best thing is probably it's always different. We've always got new challenges, different ways to do stuff, better ways to do stuff. So it's not like being stuck in an office behind a desk. We're always out here or anywhere, and so yeah, great. It's just varied all the time.
It's lovely. Thank you for having us in your field today in the fresh air.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I know
Me
the
too.
children have. Thank you so much, children, for taking part, and a special thanks as well for putting all that time and effort into your experiments and showing us the final carrots as well. They really did look great, so well done on that one. Join us next time on our next online field trip. We'll be learning all about porridge oats. That'll be on the 1st of October. And don't forget, if you'd like to take part in a Farm to Fork school trip, all you need to do is sign up online. Everything you need to know is on the website, and it is loads of fun. The children, as you can see on screen now, are really getting stuck in. So if you enjoy doing your carrot experiments, you are going to love a school trip as well. We've come to the end of today's lesson. Thank you so much for having us, Toby.
Thanks very much.
Should we have a few carrots?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, time for a little snack now. Goodbye, children. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Goodbye, Bonus Primary School. Goodbye, Ben Weavers.
Bye.
Goodbye, Lowman Primary. And goodbye, Birchgrove.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.